Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to BTM Crypto News Network. And as you can see, the market is down today, but we will be here. We're still talking, and we're talking about XRP becoming a bank, or Ripple becoming a bank, actually, and how that impacts XRP and the XRP ETFs on the way. Can't stop, won't stop, right? They're almost there. But let's get to the screen share and see what we can see. So this is our sponsor, Philip Brown, and the Crypto News Network, and them supporting the channel. If you need a crypto brokerage, they give you 24/7 support. They're always online. You'll talk to an actual human, not a recording, not a um, system, or not an automated. You'll actually talk to someone, which is good. But as well, I think they're based in Australia. And since we're in the US, even if you do call at night, it'll be daytime there anyway. So it's also a plus. Plus, you get your own personal broker. So that kind of helps you guide through the crypto market with the ups and downs and the in and outs and all the best cryptos and the blue chips to purchase. So it is definitely worth um, signing up for, and you can use my link in the description. I've seen a lot of people who've been signing up, so thank you guys. And refresh this real quick. So as you can see, the crypto bubbles are loading, and you can see there is actually hardly any green, right? Everything is down. I think Air Drone is up 2.6%, and White Rock is up 0.5%. Everything else is down. Let's see here. Ethereum is down 5%, up 1.3 on the hour, under 4,000, 3,742. Down 1.9 on the week and 10% on the month. Looking for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down 3.5% on the day, up 0.7 on the hour, down to 107,000. It's down 1.8 on the week and 6% on the month, still up 47.6 on the year. See if we can find XRP here. I was just looking at this weird, it shuffled. I hate it when it reshuffles because I was just freaking looking at this. Okay, here we go. XRP is down. Wow, 6.4% on the day, 1.2 on the hour, 1.5 on the week, down 15.3 on the month, still up 359 on the year, down to $2.42. Ouch. Let's see here. Casper is down 11%. Link is down 5.9. Ethereum Classic down 7.2. Dodge is down 8.5. Cubic is down 11.4. Hash flow is down 13.9. Flare, which had some news lately, is down 7.7. Renders down 10.9. XPR, should have waited to buy that, is down 8.7. The Tensor Tau is down 9.2. FET is down 13. ICP is down 10. Helium is down 4.3. AVAC is down 10. NEAR is down 11. Algo RAN is down 9.4. HBAR is down 5.6. Litecoin's down 7.2. ZBCN is down 3.6. Stronghold is down 7.1. And we'll close that out. Let me go to a quick short from earlier. Let's check it out real quick.
I need to show you guys something, okay? You notice how XRP recently dipped all the way down to $1.32 on most exchanges and has steadily been climbing back up since then? Well, this is completely by design. Ever since this massive liquidation event happened, what we've been seeing is institutions have been consistently buying in. This is large scale investors. People with billions of dollars are the ones that are helping XRP's price recovery. And retail has been involved in the purchase of XRP as well, but this is nothing compared to what's right around the corner. The reason why all of these institutions have been buying so heavily is because the XRP ETFs are going to be improved pretty much right as the government shutdown is ending. The deadline was supposed to be October 18th, but that's been pushed out because of the government shutdown. And in November, we're going to see these ETFs approved. And when that happens, much like what happened with Bitcoin, XRP's price is going to explode. Get ready and give me your XRP price predictions in the comments.
So, what is your XRP price prediction in the comments? Shout out to Levi Crypto. There is another quick short I wanted to check out. Okay, here we go. This is
I
Jake
don't know that it'll
Cleaver.
be slow moving. When XRP gets moving, it tends to be pretty aggressive. Southeast Asia loves XRP. And when they see it move, it's like, oh, yeah. Again, I have a full theory on all this, how it gets to extremely high prices, but it's a bunch of catalysts that all kind of culminate for the perfect storm for that to happen.
Let's do the bare minimum. Let's say we know ETFs are going to happen.
Yeah, I think a $10 to $13 XRP would be very reasonable. Maybe even $20 to $25 XRP.
End of year or by this time next?
End of year. If we get ETFs launched this year, I think that you could see that amount of liquidity move in. Again, I think that there's going to be other things that culminate that cause it to go much higher than that.
Right.
But if it's just the ETFs, I think that those price ranges make the most sense.
Shout out to Jake Cleaver, actually. So we'll look at the BTM Crypto News Network X. So this is Brad Gensenhaus. In my view, XRP is set to become the second largest crypto currency, surpassing Ethereum within weeks. This is why experts believe up to $650 trillion could flow into the XRP ledger through Real Token. This project is designed to unlock, digitize the mass global real estate market. These guys are pushing this Real Token hard as heck. But let's see what Brad's talking about here with XRP.
I think you're going to see touched. Trade finance is an industry that really Ripple, some of our customers have invited us to participate in. And you've seen experimentation around identity in real estate and title management. And these are all examples where I think it's so hard to predict where this will go, in the same way that 25 years ago, when I first got involved in the Internet of Information, I never could have predicted on my smartphone I'd press a button and I'd have a car picking me up minutes later. I think this will permeate lots of different parts of our society.
That might be AI, but it does make sense. This is Levi. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says crypto and stablecoins will be used by all major banks to facilitate better transactions. Imagine that. After all that mess these guys have been talking about, now they're trying to get on the crypto train. Ripple's next target is 187 trillion. XRP's going after 187 trillion business to business, B2B, cross-border payment market, aiming to redefine how money moves globally. And that's what we've been saying for years. Let's see if it happens. This is breaking news. Canary Capital has filed an updated S1 for XRP spot ETF. Let's go XRP Army. So we'll see how that goes as well. And hopefully that'll pick up. German TV just broke it. XRP is ready to explode. The media landscape is shifting fast, now moving directly into the XRP ledger powered by BitX. token and its decentralized media network. November 14 marks a decentralized listing, a
Das wird man dann
historical
sehen.
milestone
Du hast
for
es gesagt, der Fusel
XRPL.
kann kommen, ist abhängig vom Schatten.
I'm glad I checked that before I played it because this is actually in German, which is weird. But this is Scoop. Canary Funds has filed for updated S1 for its XRP spot ETF, removing the delaying amendment that stops registration from auto effective and gives the SEC control over timing. This sets Canary XRP ETF to launch date of November 13th, assuming the NASDAQ greenlights the A8. And I was looking at this earlier. Apparently, some of the ETFs came back because they didn't have the correct language. This is kind of weird, but apparently it happened across the board for the ETFs. Breaking news, David Schwartz just dropped a truth bomb about XRP ledger versus other blockchains. Most chains are built for control to let someone be the bank, set the rules, and tax your transactions. The XRP ledger, truly decentralized with no middleman, government protocol can freeze, reverse, and censor your money. He also says XRP can capture value that transactions on XRPL generate. Do you want to use blockchain where people can be their own bank, no middleman tax their transactions? Or do you want to be someone else's bank and tax their transactions? If you want the latter, there are dozens of crypto or blockchains for you. If you want the former, that's XRP. I do think XRP's special place on the XRPL ensures that XRP will capture some of the value of XRPL transactions generate. XRP is the only asset without counterparty that can be accessed by every account in every jurisdiction with no risk of default, freeze, or clawback. This is Donald Trump. Crypto is the biggest revolution since the internet. No speculation, validation.
This could be perhaps
See
the
what Trump has
greatest
to say.
revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. A lot of people are saying that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yes? If you say yes, I'm saying yes. I think it's great that you're involved. This could be perhaps
To Trump on that about the crypto being the biggest revolution since the internet. Breaking news today marks the OCC 120-day review of Ripple's application to establish Ripple's National Trust Bank. If approved, Ripple becomes a federally regulated bank, a historic step for XRP and digital finance. I expected a new ticker will be released soon for all spot XRP ETFs before launch date, which are intimate. Just in, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon admits he was wrong about crypto is real. Of course he did. Solana blockchain suffered another crash after just 3 million transactions. Meanwhile, the XRP ledger easily processed 10 million transactions with zero downtime, ready for global scale. 100 or 650 trillion real estate market is about to unlock the XRP ledger via RealFi, powered by the Real token. These guys are pushing the life out of this Real token. And this is CoinShare, Bitwise, 21 shares, Grayscale Spot, XRP ETFs, and SEC has taken effective today for auto approval of S1A filing. Canary Capital effective date is November 13th. wisdom tree is November 4th. So this is coin share October 10th, October 30th, Bitwise October 30th, 21 shares October 30th, Canary Capital November 13th, Grayscale Wisdom Tree and Frankel's Templeton November 4th. So this is another quick video from Jake.
Transactions. R3 finalized Project Ion with the DTCC back in 2022, and it is able to settle all the transactions between the clearinghouses and the brokers real time via a digital asset. And the primary settlement mechanism for R3 and Corda is, you guessed it, XRP. And why would they choose that when they've put out other announcements about Solana and some of these other networks that they're looking at working with? Well, XRP is the only thing that actually has clarity here in the US because of the lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC. On July 13th of 2023, the judge issued the ruling that XRP in and of itself is not a security. And until we have the Clarity Act passed here in the US that actually gives congressional regulation around what's a security and what's not, the only option for this would be XRP because it's the only legal settlement mechanism here in the US that we know, again, is not a security. So, but how do they get XRP's price to a high enough point that it would actually be able to settle the back end of the stock market? I mean, it's $600 trillion, $5 or $6 trillion a day in daily settlement on the back end of the stock market between the clearinghouses and the brokers. Well, the answer is simple: the ETFs. We've had a ton of applications for spot ETFs for XRP that have been pushed back and delayed and delayed. We need them all to launch at the same time. I know people have been frustrated by that, but this needs to be a coordinated effort to be able to drive XRP's price to a high enough price that it has enough liquidity to settle the back into the stock market and save the day in this situation. And BlackRock, I think, is going to be the one leading that charge. Back in November of 2023, there was an iShares Trust ETF for XRP that popped up on the Delaware website. And mysteriously, BlackRock never made a statement, and neither did Ripple, about that being fake. It was only Bloomberg that came out and stated that they had talked to somebody at BlackRock and that it was a fake, ETF filing, and they were going to get to the bottom of it. And the DOJ was investigating, and then nothing ever came of it. We never heard about it again. So it's possible that that trust and that structure is still just sat there in the background, waiting to be used in an emergency situation. So all of these things have been strategically put in place, again, like dominoes, that'll all fall at once in order to be able to push XRP's price to the level it needs to be and hold it there because of the volume and settlement that'll then be moving over the network. And, you never let a good crisis go to waste. But that's not even the biggest price potential for XRP. With the reverse carry trade unwind and all of the other things that could culminate here at the end of 2025, I think somewhere between, on the very low end, $50 to $100 XRP is kind of a pit stop that I see happening, but it could very well be 4 digits, even here in 2025, if all of this were to play out. That doesn't get into the long-term price predictions for XRP. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're very likely going to be able to tokenize the derivatives market. And that's where the money is. The notional value of the derivatives market today is somewhere between, on the low end, $400 trillion, and on the high end, up to $4 quadrillion. And nobody can assess how much is actually out there because there is no accounting mechanism across all of those bets, because that's what they are. They're really bets in the derivatives market. Nobody can also quantify the risk. This is why we had the financial crisis in 2008. People couldn't actually quantify the exposure they had to the collateralized debt obligations that they had packaged up and shipped off and traded between one another. And when the mortgage market started to collapse on itself and the underlying collateral that was sold as, these AAA loans or not, ninja loans and all the other crazy stuff that was going on back then, it fell apart on itself. You always want the base of the derivatives market to be risk-free assets. And that's why now it's required that they have US Treasuries, which is a tier 1 asset designated by the BIS. And you could probably use gold as well. So how are they going to do this? What is anybody working on this? What does that even look like? Well, one of the products that Ripple was working on early on was called Cody. And some people say that that's been disbanded and it's no longer being worked on, but the website is still there. And it says it's in beta. So we'll see if that's the case or not. But Codius is a platform for smart contracts for derivatives. And if Ripple was working on it, it would be, it would make sense that XRP would probably be the settlement layer for all of those smart contracts, like a sidechain, like an EVM sidechain on the XRP. And if it gets the settlement of all of these derivatives, again, 400 trillion all the way up to $4 quadrillion, daily settlements are going to be astronomical. It would require a price of somewhere between $10,000 to $50,000 per XRP. And that's not speculation. That's actual utility and demand that would require XRP's price to be at those high levels. And again, people on the market cap side are going to lose their minds for that one because it's going to be in the pin for market cap once we get to that point. So the crazy part there is, we'll see the adoption of XRP in these other markets and applications, whether it's, Swift transactions or the back-end settlement of the stock market or FX or commodities. Derivatives will dwarf anything that it's been used for prior to that. And the price would need to be a very high, stable price to be able to settle all of that at scale every single day. So this is my premise in thinking that XRP does end up becoming a tier 1 asset, risk-free. It's basically the underlying backbone, just like US Treasuries is today, for the entire financial system. And you need to think about this, again, on volume and settlement. It's not speculation. Speculation is never going to...
Says XRP to $10,000 to $20,000 per token is crazy, is madness, is crazy work. But let me know what you guys think. As always, it's your main man BTM signing out. Let's get back to the money and stay dangerous. Miners out.